Welcome back to the podcast for founders by founders. This is the Uncommonality Podcast.
Today we have Sagar Shukla with Foresight with us. And this is going to be the third episode of our mini series that we are doing with the Seed the South Summit. So welcome, Sagar. Thank you for joining us.
Kian Sal, thanks so much for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely. So just to give our audience a little bit of background about yourself and what Foresight is, can you tell us who you are and what is Foresight?
Absolutely. So my name is Sagar Shukla. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Foresight. Foresight is an enterprise SaaS platform. So we work with software companies to help them stop churn, which is a huge problem in the software industry. Customers will come and pay for your solution and then leave a year later because they found a better price or AI is starting to eat their lunch. So we help those software companies keep those customers, grow their customers, and ultimately increase their valuations.
That's awesome, man. How did you get into this space?
Yeah, man. So I was actually, I'm born and raised in Charlotte, first of all. So I was working for a startup in Charlotte that was called DealCloud. And I joined, I was employee number 10. It was a $2 million revenue startup that had just raised its Series A. I cold emailed the company. I was like, here's my resume. I'm looking for a job. I had worked at a big tech company before. I was like, I want a startup experience. I got a response within 20 minutes from this guy who I used to play tennis with in high school 8 years prior to that. He's like, yo, Sagar, what's up, man? Let's meet up for coffee the next day. Turns out they're hiring like crazy. And long story short, I got a job January 1st, 2017, ride of my life. Next 4 years, we went from $2 million to $250 million in revenue. Got acquired, went public along the way, crazy. And I would not have started Foresight without that experience because I met all my co-founder there, my investors. I understood the problem that we needed to solve, and now they're one of our best customers.
That's incredible.
That's a good story, man.
So looking back at that experience, you said you started in 2017.
So DealCloud was 2017. I left in 2021 to start Foresight with my co-founder.
And before that, you were at a bigger firm you had mentioned.
Yeah, so it's a company called Red Ventures.
Yeah.
So I worked there, and it's a great company. I joined out of college. I went to Chapel Hill, and they were recruiting heavily from Chapel Hill. So I joined as an analyst associate, met a ton of great people. That actually, a lot of my friends who are here came from Red Ventures. So awesome alumni group. Ultimately, I wanted a smaller company startup, and that was a 3,000 person company at the time. So I left to figure out what was next.
Did you know that you've always wanted to have your own startup, or did you go into the startup space just thinking, hey, I just want the experience. Let's see how long we can ride this?
Yeah, I always in college, I actually started off as a pre-med chemistry major, and I was like, I don't like blood. Like, why the hell am I doing this? and so I left. I was abroad one summer. I was like, this is ridiculous. Let me do something else. So I got back. And I quit everything, like pre-med chemistry. I was like, I don't have no idea what I want to do with my life. But when my friend was an entrepreneur and he said, hey, come with me to this weekend. It's a hackathon called Triangle Startup Weekend. So I went. It was a great time. I said, let me do more of this. So all my internships in college were working for entrepreneurs in New York and alumni who I was helping build their businesses. I said, okay, I can see myself doing this one day. How do I get there? So I asked my mentors and they said, you got to find a company to cut your teeth in. You got to build a network. You need to build confidence. You got to understand a problem. So I was like, all right, that's my checklist. How do I go do that? When I was working at Red Ventures, big company, I wasn't being able to check those things off the list pretty quickly. So I said, let me go find a startup where I can go do that. That's what led me to DealCloud. And I knew I had to put the time in, right? I had to put 4 or 5 years in, go through, the grind and figure it out so that I could earn the right to do it myself.
Pay your dues.
Exactly. So I think those seeds were planted in college in my mind and through experiences, but I knew that I had to go and pay my dues first before I could do it myself.
Yeah.
It's definitely a journey. I guess something of value for a lot of the viewers would be, because you have a lot of times we found something more called a zigzag route where a lot of these founders have kind of stumbled upon what it is that they're on now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been a journey of gaining lessons and tools along the way that didn't really make sense until you finally got to that picture of this is what I'm supposed to do. Yours seems more relatively vertical of I started here, I know I wanted to go there and keep moving up into the next steps. Where did you find the confidence, or how did you know when it was the right time to take that next step and go, okay, I want to go to this smaller company and have more responsibility and learn more, and then also on top of that, all right, it's time to do this on myself and make that big risk?
Totally. And I love the analogy. I've heard it called the drunken walk of an entrepreneur. You're walking around the woods.
Drunken walk's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to the college days, and I read the book 0 to 1. I'm sure a lot of us have, right? The Peter Thiel book.
Peter Thiel.
So it was all right. So 0 to 1, I felt like at Red Ventures, I was the 2 to 3, right? Like I was optimizing for the last 1%. And I learned a ton. I was learning SQL, Excel, business acumen, whatnot. And I'm an impatient person generally. Like I need to be doing, learning, moving. Like I need to have momentum. And if I feel like I'm stalling out, like I'm out basically. So I stalled out, at Red Ventures after about a year and a good experience, but then realized I need to go earlier. I'm doing the 2 to 3. Let's go do the 1 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so Deal Cloud, super lucky, right? The whole cold email outreach got there, was a great 1 to 2. I didn't know it was gonna be a 1 to 2. I didn't know it was gonna go acquire public, all that stuff. It was just some random, weird software company that I found on like Google search basically. But that company was a really tough experience, learned a lot. But once we got acquired, I was fortunate enough to be working with some of the leadership of that company. And we ended up, I was in New York at the time, I was traveling all over with the leadership. We sold some really big deals. I was working in solutions and sort of solutions selling, pre-sales engineer, that's my title. And we closed a huge deal, and I was in the boardroom with the CEO and the president, and I was like this 26-year-old dude, like no reason to be there, but right time, right place, played my cards. We ended up having a great time and closed the deal. I said, this is my time, let me leverage this to then get my own team, and so I could do this globally, right? I want to run this initiative across the world. So I was ambitious, I wanted to do that. And the company at the time was like going big, more bureaucratic, more political. And I did my pitch, didn't hear anything back. A couple months later passed, I brought it up again, nothing. They reorged, they put me in a different part of the organization. I'm like, okay, I see where the music's ending here, stalling out. It's time to bounce. Pandemic had happened, and this might be off the record, but I was working 2 jobs. I was working my corporate job, I was working stuff on the side, and realized, okay, well, the time seems now where I have enough confidence, leverage, a knowledge about the system, problem, investors, all the stuff, the checklist. And I said, if it's not now, then I could go work for another company, right? I could go do the 1 to 2, 2 to 3, but I'm going to find myself in the same position again where I'm stalling out, and that's not acceptable. Let's try it now. And I've been talking the talk, let's walk the walk and see how it is. So that time came in 2021, and here we are, 4 years later.
I love that. You know why? Because that falls along the lines of something that I harped a lot on in our podcast, and it's something that I live by. I think you'll appreciate this. It's pride, but in an acronym. So I believe in taking pride in everything you do. And pride is personal responsibility and developing excellence. It's not pride as in ego and cockiness in this. It's taking personal responsibility in your life in all aspects to develop that excellence in yourself because you want to keep excelling. And it seems like that's where you were keeping those realizations of, okay, I'm in this 1 to 2, and this is kind of stalling out. And there's not really much more I can go. I want more responsibility. I want more decision making, impact, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely. And that was it. We're having a vision for myself of what I knew I was capable of and the potential. But you have to be, if you're a plant, the pot's too small, you got to go and repot yourself into a bigger terrain, right? And so that was my analogy of, all right, it's time to go to a bigger pot and, see how it is.
It's 100%, man.
Transitioning over into Seed the South, which is why
we're
here. You just got off the stage, right? So can you talk us through what was going through your head? How are you feeling now that it's over? But what were you feeling when you were on the stage?
Yeah, honestly, I was telling you guys right before this, I live 4 minutes away from here. I'm a born and raised Charlottine. I grew up on the north side near University City, went to Battle Creek High School. So to be here on the stage representing the Charlotte Showcase and fortunate enough to be the I guess kicking off that segment, I was like, this is pretty surreal, right? Like Charlotte's coming up, is its own startup. It's all on the come up. And so I was really proud and love to be a part of this. Definitely have some nerves, right? Anytime you're in front of people, the nerves are there, but I think, I've been doing this for 4 years. I pitched at Venture Atlanta a couple of years ago. So I've gotten to a point where now it's sharing our story as authentically as possible. I'm not trying to sell, right? I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. It's just, here's where we're at. Here's what we're doing. And if you want to talk, let's talk. That's it. Keep it pretty simple and straightforward. And that's what happened. I had 3 people email and LinkedIn message me after saying, oh, that was great. Like, I want to talk to you after. I'm like, cool, awesome. Let's do it. So definitely some nerves, but part of this journey has been releasing that and expressing that in an authentic way as possible and being myself.
That's awesome.
I'm a big believer in that. When you have something good, you don't have to do the selling because it will sell itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, you kind of embody that. You can tell you're like charismatic. Like ever since you walked in, like it's just nonstop conversation. So you can feel that. Right.
He has his own podcast. Plug the podcast.
Hey, Future Customer Value. You can find it on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music. 32 episodes with chief revenue officers, chief customer officers, including the head of customer success at Zoom, which is awesome. So it's a great way for me to build our brand and to talk to leaders across the industry and learn and ultimately share those learnings.
Community support community.
There we go.
That's right.
So as we close this up, we're coming up on time here. So just real briefly, with the brand of the Uncommonality podcast, we ask every entrepreneur, every founder the same question.
Okay.
What is one uncommon practice, belief, or system that you've built over time that you think someone watching can get value out of, or something that you credit a lot of your success to?
Whoa. Okay, that's a really good question. Uncommon. Now I have to think about something super niche.
Super
you know?
niche, yeah.
Hey, some people say they'll wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say, "I love you," and that's what they need.
Dang.
Uncommon,
Mikey,
but
yeah.
it works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go on that thread because I do this in my toughest moments when I'm under the gun, a lot of anxiety, stress. I feel like I'm overwhelmed. The mirror is actually where I go, and sometimes it's an "I love you." Sometimes it's just looking straight into my eyes, right, and looking into the soul. I'm like, "Hey, man, we can do this. This is tough. Honestly, you're the only person who can help yourself right now, right? As much as I want to share with my family, my wife, my friends, like I am the only person who can get me out of this, whatever situation that I'm in, and it's us. Let's lock in. Let's get it done." And there have been so many moments in my life where that's happened, and that's happened in the same mirror in my condo in Noda, which is a big IKEA full-size mirror. It's been there since I moved in. And so we have a connection with this mirror now, but it really comes down to it, right? It is ultimately a journey with yourself of self-growth and realization, actualization. And so whatever way you can connect with yourself, that's what you got to do, because you have to get to the next level. And the way you do that is by getting deeper into yourself. So
No one's coming to save you.
nobody's coming to save
No
you.
one's
That's
coming
right.
to save you.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was really
That
good
was good.
advice. Relationship with self. Well, Sagar, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you, guys.
We
It's
really,
awesome.
really appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck with everything.
I appreciate it.
We'll have to have you on the podcast real soon.
I would love to. And I guess I earned my cookie now. So
Oh, you're
Yeah,
your cookie.
get
Go
that
enjoy that
cookie.
cookie.
Thanks, boss. Peace,
Thank you.
guys.